When was the last time that you went on a simple walk or a hike? They can be really pleasant and are great exercise. Making your way through the neighborhood or through nature can work as a palate cleanser and can really put things into a positive perspective. Sometimes you just need a day out doing something like that to refresh you. Another thing I definitely find refreshing is enjoying a short and sweet video game about hiking. This is Games for Healing, your new favorite web series, where we take a look at cozy games, as well as games involving mental health, life struggles, and life lessons. Let's take a look at a short hike. The first thing you'll notice when looking at this game is the delicious crunchy pixels. That's the aesthetic it goes for, but you can tone it down in the settings and make things look a lot smoother if you like. I'm all for the visual style that they went with as is. Really gives off vibes of the 3D games of yesteryear. Feels like playing an HD DS or PS1 game. A pixelated look makes your imagination fill in a lot of the blanks when it comes to fine details. The fish shadows and digging spots look like they came straight out of Animal Crossing. With the way the graphics are, they especially remind me of Wild World. There's even a money rock. It's probably safe to assume that a short hike's creator is a fan. You can't go wrong with cute anthropomorphic animal characters just being little dudes. Initially released in 2019, A Short Hike is an indie game that can be played on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. It was created by Canadian developer Adam Robinson Yu with the intent of evoking feelings of peace and discovery, all inspired by the summer hiking trips and forest explorations of Adam's youth. It's a simple game with a simple plot. We play as Claire, a young bird lady from the city. She's dropped off at a ferry that takes her to Hawk Peak Provincial Park for the summer. It's located on an island. Her Aunt May works there as a ranger. Upon arriving, Claire is expecting to be getting an important phone call soon. She doesn't say what the phone call is about. Aunt May informs her that there's no cell phone reception in the park, except for at the very top of Hawk Peak. So it's time for Claire to make the hike up there for the first time. That's it, that's the game. A girl wants cell phone reception for a phone call, so she hikes a trail. But it's so much more than that. You'll find that the park is a beautiful open sandbox. It's not totally massive by any means, but it's certainly big enough to inspire a feeling of adventure, while also feeling small enough to feel densely packed and intimate. It's a very easy to digest open world. During your hike, you'll have plenty to do and see. Where you go and what you decide to do is entirely up to you. You could do the bare minimum and reach your destination fairly quickly, or you could take your sweet time and enjoy as much of the park and its inhabitants as you like. You can easily beat this game in a day in 1 or 2 sessions. It took me about an hour and a half to beat the game while taking my time to explore. It took me about 5 hours to 100% it. The island is loaded with other animals for you to talk to, including other hikers and some park staff. They're all packed with personality and have plenty to say. They'll offer tutorials, activities, and side quests. One thing I immediately notice is that everybody in this game speaks in pure lowercase, which somehow bugged me for a few minutes until I quickly got used to it. What's a fun world without a fun moveset to enjoy it with? Claire feels very smooth to control. She can run, jump, swim, climb, and glide. She can also use a variety of tools that you'll be picking up along the way. Running with the unlockable running shoes, climbing, and flapping your wings all consume gold feathers. Your gold feathers are pretty much a stylized stamina bar. They'll quickly replenish as you stop doing the acts that consume them. The game has 20 feathers to collect. You can buy them, find them through exploring, and get them as rewards from side quests. The more you have, the more options you'll have for traversal, and the more freedom you'll feel. They'll let you climb and run for longer periods of time, and jump up to 20 times in a row since Claire has wings she can flap. It certainly helps to be a bird when hiking. Claire has a silky smooth glide move where you just hold the jump button while in the air. Gliding from place to place feels satisfying and breezy. You can either glide slowly and take in the sights, or you can let go of the control stick to quickly dive downwards. Going back to regular gliding after a downward dive will boost your speed significantly. You can't regain height though. If you can master gliding, you'll be traveling efficiently and with style. There are 2 secret silver feathers to collect which will increase your running, climbing, and gliding speed. They'll also make your extra jumps higher than before. You can use this moveset to approach the island however you see fit. The game includes a speed run timer in the options, so I can imagine speedrunners have great times here, especially considering how short the game is. A lot of time and planning must go into what routes to take and who to speak to. The tools you have access to include a shovel for digging up treasure, a rod for fishing, a stick for playing a made-up game called Beach Stick Ball, a watering can for watering flowers and putting out fires, and an axe for opening up some extra passageways. The journey really is the destination here. Meeting all of the park inhabitants and learning their little stories is a highlight. Some are trying to make the hike just as you are. They'll comment on how strenuous the trek is. There are park rangers making sure everyone is safe. There's a painter dealing with insecurities about her art. A kid who missed out on track team tryouts who challenges you to multiple races. A paranoid illegal camper whose permit got swallowed by a fish. A scalper/thief who's trying to pay for his school tuition. That's just a few to name. A lot of the characters were memorable for me despite the short time spent with them. The writing for them is all charming on top of that. Once Claire reaches the top of Hawk Peak and takes in the northern lights, she gets cell phone reception. She gets her important phone call. It's from her mother. Apparently she just had surgery, and Claire wasn't even informed about it. She feels bad that she couldn't be there. The two share a wholesome family moment. Then an updraft appears which we can blissfully ride while surrounded by auroras. Gliding down from here feels great. You can then talk to Aunt May and tell her about all the things you did today. Claire can then go take a nap and the credits will roll. After that, you're free to continue exploring. I enjoyed the game enough to 100% it. It's very achievable. A short hike has a built-in list of achievements for you to check off. The hardest ones involve having to get every single little thing like watering every sprout or catching every fish. Catching all the fish is very much doable because the fish journal you're given tells you exactly what type of waters the fish can be found in. I managed to water all of the sprouts just from exploring the island a bunch of times, but I'd imagine it might feel like searching for a needle in a haystack eventually for some people. There's no pressure at all to go for 100%, but it doesn't take too much effort outside of looping around the island a bunch of times. If you have trouble finding anything, you could always look up a guide. I never would have known what the crispy achievement was without looking up a guide. It's just question mark on the list in-game with a toast silhouette. There's a sign by this ranger talking about toast and strawberries being available at 5 p.m. Somehow this is the only sign in the game I never read. If you talk to the ranger at 5 p.m. real time, you can get some toast from them, then eat it to get the achievement. It'll make you wish you had some toast. The island's size and many landmarks allow for the player to keep its layout pretty fresh in their memory at all times. It kind of reminds me of Woohoo Island from Wii Sports Resort. The island itself was treated like a character, and I always loved flying that airplane around and exploring. I get a similar feeling exploring Hawk Peak Provincial Park. You get really familiar with the park while continuously discovering new little things. The game's world is wonderfully designed and lovingly made. It doesn't feel too big or too small. It feels just right. Honestly, I wish it were a real place. I'd love to go there. I wouldn't mind if this game got some sort of sequel that lets us explore a different park. That'd be cool. Maybe it could star a different character. A short hike is given lots of life by its music. Not only is it good music, but it does one of my favorite things that video game music can do: be dynamic. Most of the music changes based on where you are in each of the different locations. It also changes while you're gliding to suit the mood. The game has a dynamic camera which sets the camera angle based on where you are. It works well, although it can be a bit disorienting when your character goes off camera for a moment. You have light control over the camera. It doesn't do much, but it's there. The name of the game is Modest and Honest. A short hike is a short game. Being short is the whole point. Despite that, it manages to be a very fulfilling and memorable experience. The game relaxes and serves as something to clear your head with. I'd recommend it especially as something to play in between longer games as a refresher. I've seen some people call a short hike a blend of Animal Crossing and Zelda, specifically Breath of the Wild with its freedom, climbing, stamina system, and gliding. I think that's a fine comparison on the surface level. It makes its own identity though. If that intrigues you at all, you'll definitely have fun with it. It's a playful time. It'll let you enjoy the simple pleasures of exploring and trying on a few unlockable hats. Normally this phrase might sound rude, but go take a hike. Until next time, I'll see you later. Stay strong out there.